Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it is August 13th of 2021. We just ordered in from, let's see, Walmart as a food delivery. And, it's delivered to the front door for us. And I just had some dip. I got a email. I get emails from time to time. I'm signed up for, my daughter and her husband purchased DNA. What, Ancestry.com, is that it? No, it's 23andMe, I believe. I don't know, a year or so ago. And I get emails where they ask for information, and then that information goes into the database, and with other people with the same DNA, they work out stuff, and there's information that. So I didn't intend to make a video just now, but I clicked on an email, and they asked about. Well, there was one question. Well, it was in an email, but then it connected with them about hearing. The question being, do you have difficulty hearing in places where there's a lot of people? And one of the, of course, responses, and the one I clicked on, is yes, but I have difficulty hearing, period. So then they moved me to the next step, and then I thought I'm going to I started to fill this out, and I thought, I've when I got the DNA program, and I did a report, on it someplace here. But I don't think I've ever done where I showed the questions that were being asked, some questions that were being asked, and I thought, well, let's do that as information, give you an idea of what type of questions they ask. Of course, it varies from time to time, and it says here, let's see. So let's go ahead and just do this. In the past 12 months, have you been newly diagnosed with any of the following conditions by a medical professional? Not in the last 12 months. I do have type 2 diabetes, but not within the last 12 months. I do have a high number, or is it a low number? Can't remember which, on thyroid. And my ex-wife, we share the same apartment with my grown son in order to save money here. And she had her thyroid taken out. So she has to take every day, very important that she take a medication. And of course, I have high blood pressure, but it wasn't diagnosed within, the last 12 months, so the answer is no. In the past 12 months, how many medications have you taken to control your blood pressure? High blood pressure. Either 2 or 3 I take. But the ones I take for the high blood pressure, I believe, well, maybe one is just strictly for high blood pressure, but I think the others are also for the heart condition. But I'm going to say 2. In the past 12 months, have you spent the night in the hospital for the treatment of severe high blood pressure? That's a no. In the past 12 months, have you been newly diagnosed with any of the following conditions by a medical professional? Irregular heart rhythm? No. But I have a pacemaker in because I definitely have had irregular heart rhythm. And I think, let's see, I got married at age 26, and 6 years later, my wife left me. I came home from work and everything was gone except my clothes. And then I started having a regular heart rhythm. And unfortunately, she came back. And 6 years later, she decided she wanted to divorce just out of the blue, and my irregular heart rhythm started again. But I have not in the last 12 months. Let's see, irregular. Coronary artery disease, no. Anemia, no. A bleeding disorder or bleeding tendencies such as hemophilia. The answer is no. In the past 12 months, how have your irregular heart rhythms, cardiac arrhythmia, symptoms changed overall, including effects of your treatment compared to the 12 months before? So, let's see. Well, in the past, compared to the 12 months before, I'm going to have to say that my symptoms really, I'm going to say it stayed the same because I have a pacemaker, and I had a pacemaker for like 10 years before that. In the past 2 weeks, for about how many days did your irregular heart rhythm make it hard for you to do your usual activities such as self-care work? Your best, see. In the past 2 weeks, about how many days did your regular heart rhythm make it difficulty? Let's see. Guess this is multiple choice here. Okay. I'm going to say 0. In the past 2 weeks, to what extent has your irregular heartbeat interfered with your normal social activities with families, friends, neighbors, or groups? Okay, I'm going to say not at all. The pacemaker is keeping my heart rate doing the same. In the past 12 months, have you been newly diagnosed with any of the following conditions? Okay, this one here is your eye, and I just had my eyes examined for the first time in 6 years. With diabetes, you should have your eye exam. It's important to have it done once a year. Let's see. Have you been newly diagnosed with any of the following conditions? Cataracts, I already have, and 6 years ago I was diagnosed out of the view, and the cataracts are still not a problem. They might be a problem if I were driving or something like that. For me, laying on the bed or sitting at the desk, they're not a problem. Not a problem. So I'm going to say no. In the past, okay, this is a no because I just saw the eye doctor not long ago, and the doctor said, see you in a year. In the past 12 months, did your doctor prescribe eye drop? No. For cataracts. In the past 12 months, how have your cataract symptoms, such as vision loss, changed overall, including the effects of your treatment compared to 12 months before? I've never had any problems. In the past 12 months, have you been newly diagnosed with any of the following conditions by a medical professional? Acid reflux or gastro reflex disease, irritable bowel syndrome, colon polyps, Crohn's disease, or colitis? I'm going to say no. Have you had a colostomy in the past 12 months? No, I've never had one. I'm 70 years of age, by the way. In the past 12 months, have you been newly diagnosed with any of the following conditions by a medical professional? Arthritis. I have arthritis really, really bad, but it's not, I've had it for quite a while. It's not newly diagnosed. Low bone density. I haven't, the doctor hasn't done any scans or anything like that. Carpal tunnel syndrome or repetitive stress injury. I have I've had a bunch of pains, but if anybody should have carpal tunnel, I think all of us, if we use the computer, use a mouse or whatever, but, and chronic pain. I've been telling my doctor when I go every 6 months or so that I'm just having a lot of pain, but it hasn't been newly diagnosed. It's been, let's see, so it's a no. In the past 12 months, how has your arthritis symptoms changed overall, including effects of your treatment compared to 12 months before? I've never had any symptoms. My symptoms have gotten worse. Okay, that's going to be it. I don't need to go through the rest of them. My symptoms have gotten worse, really. The arthritis is really bad. In the past 2 weeks, for about how many days did arthritis make it hard for you to do your usual activities? So they're saying 14 days, so let's see. Oops. 14 days. In the past 2 weeks, to what extent has arthritis interfered with your normal social activities with family, friends, neighbors, or groups? Well, I really don't, have much, except with you all. I don't have much social activities. So in the past 2 weeks, has it interfered? Well, I'm going to say slightly, but really, I don't have much social activity. And, well, I don't have much because I would get out if, not just because I have other medical problems. I'm going to say slightly, and I think this may be the wrong answer, but, In the past 12 months, have you been newly diagnosed with any of the following conditions? Anxiety. I did have, for the first time in my life, within the last 12 months, I did have an anxiety attack, or maybe a panic attack. I don't know which. And I've never ever had anything like that before, and I don't know why I had it. But it was educational, but not the kind of education that I wanted, because I now know how people feel who have that. I could not deal with that. I just had it for like a full day, especially like at bedtime, and then I had less the next day. Let me see. So, that feeling, I would not be able to put up with that. I would have to get on a medicine that worked, or I would have to be, I don't know. I could not function or live that way. In the past 12 months, have you been newly diagnosed with any of the following? I'm going to say no, but I had that one attack, and I I'm going to say no. In the past 12 months, have you been newly diagnosed with any of the following conditions by a medical professional? Schizophrenia, Alzheimer's disease, another cosmic, that's not the proper word, another condition, or dementia, Parkinson's disease. I don't know much about Parkinson's disease, but I think that I've had some weird stuff, like I'm having trouble, I have the mouse in my hand and not want to, click on something. I'll just have my hand over the mouse, and my hand like goes down. And I kind of wonder, but but no, I have not been newly diagnosed for any of these. My mother did have Alzheimer's. She passed away from that. So anyway, the answer to this is no. In the last 12 months, have you been newly diagnosed by a medical professional? No. I have terrible sleep, just my lifestyle. Up all night sometimes, messing with the computer, playing Civilization 6, I've never had migraines. My ex-wife has migraines, not recent, well, she has migraines where she only sees half of something, and has bad pains from time to, not often, maybe like once or twice a year. And she is able to just, take an naproxen or something and go right to sleep, and then as soon as she wakes up, she's okay. I'm going to say no. In the past 12 months, have been newly diagnosed with any of the following condition by a medical professional. I know those are like skin problems of some kind, and I don't know. I'm going to have to say no, because it hasn't been diagnosed by, and I've got poor circulation over it, but I'm going to say no to these. Makes it sound like I could go out and get a job, doesn't it? I'm getting, Let's see, hives, or I'm not sure what this other is, allergies, asthma. No. In the past 12 months, how have your allergy symptoms changed overall? Okay. Okay. When I was back in Missouri, I left in 2000. I was living in a mobile home that did not have air conditioning in Missouri. And I bought a gigantic fan. I think that if I'd have hooked that up to some kind of a cart, I could probably have taken off. It probably would have, it was sucking in tremendous amounts of air. I worked midnight shift. I'd come home in the morning, and I needed to, during the summertime, I needed to get in bed immediately and get to sleep before the temperature started to go up, because if I didn't, as the temperature went up, I wouldn't have been able to go and lay down. But if I went to bed, even though it was hot, and anyway, I had that fan going, and then I developed hay fever. I'm sure the pollen got pulled in, the ragweed. But in the past 12 months, have your allergy symptoms changed overall, including, no, they haven't changed. Okay, I'm going to say my symptoms have gotten better. Now, because I just don't have any symptoms. You know, when I went to Florida and when I went to Texas. I'm going to say my symptoms got better, but that's in the past. I'll make it hard for you to do any of your activities. That's going to be 0. Oops. Okay. When I was in Kansas City, Missouri, and I was working security at a hospital, and I was a supervisor, and I was in charge of the day. Well, for years I was in charge of the second shift supervisor, and then I was also in charge of the day shift and whatever. And on the day shift, I had 7 parking lot attendants that I was responsible for, and then the security officers, all the security officers on the day shift. And 2 of the parking lot attendants, they had hay fever really bad. And what I tried to do with them when the hay season came along, is, like this one parking lot, I said, stay inside the doors, where the front doors, where you can look out. You stay inside the doors and look out, and then if you see a car that needs help with parking, getting a parking spot or whatever, then go out and then get back in. And I thought that was pretty nice of me. And then once it was, a few years after that, I got hay fever. And then I realized that doesn't help much. You get the ragweed on your clothing. I thought I was doing a good thing, but in the past 2 weeks, to what extent have interfered with your normal activity? Okay, not at all. In the past 12 months, have you had a blood test done for liver functions or enzymes? Yes, I have. My liver functions are not normal, and they were really bad, the liver numbers on the lab work, but they've been coming down. And the last time it's taken a while, and the last time they're still above the top range. But I'm hoping the next time, I hope it's going to be down at least into the range, Yes, I have had. Was the result of your most recent test for your liver functions abnormal or elevated? Yes. Okay, I have no idea what this is. I'm not sure because I don't know what that is. Okay. I'm not sure what that is. In the past 12 months, have you been newly diagnosed with any of the following conditions by a medical professional? Fatty liver disease, stomach ulcer, any form of hepatitis? No. In the past 12 months, have you been diagnosed with infertility? No. I had a vasectomy many, many years ago. Well, let's see, got married at age 26, was married 12 years, and just before my marriage came to an end, my wife at that time, she said, I want to buy a new house, because we've been buying a new house about every 2 years. And I said, no, this is it. We're doing fine in this house. We're not getting a new house. And then she said, I want to, what was it, adopt? No, She said, I want to have another child. We had 4. And I said, no, 4 is enough. We're not having, I sound like an asshole, don't I? But hey, you don't know what I went through, what I still go through. Have you been diagnosed with? No, I had a vasectomy. That's what I was going to say. Anyway, she said I want to buy a new house. No, she said I want to have a baby. I said no, and she said, well, it's with me taking birth control pills, birth control pills, really, they're not really good to be taking, and there's blood, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. And she said, so I think you should have a vasectomy. And I said, okay. So I had a vasectomy. And then I had to go back, I forget how many times, to make sure that it worked. And then as soon as she saw that it worked, she said, I want a divorce. So anyway, in the past 12 months, were you diagnosed with infertility? No. In the past 12 months, have you experienced any of the following health problems or events? Your best guess is fine. A stroke, a mini stroke, a transient ischemic attack, that's a mini stroke or whatever, TS, By the way, if you're a medical person, it does, if I'm wrong, if you want to put something below, that's fine, but, it doesn't matter. Have in the past, no. In the past 12 months, have you experienced any of the following health problems or events? A heart attack? No. In the past 12 months, have you experienced any of the following health problems? No kidney stones, thank God. I've never had any, but I know I worked hospital security for 30 years, and I know people that I worked with, police officers, a couple of security officers that had kidney stones. I don't want a kidney stone. I do have gallstones, but they really don't cause me any trouble. I totally forget that I have them. I've never really had an attack, but like at Thanksgiving or something, if I really chow down on a bunch of food, I get pains that I think are perhaps, my my kidneys or my gallstones saying, you asshole, why are you eating this way, Let's see, kidney stones, no. Let's see, an infection required medical attention. In the past 12 months, have you had an experience? Let's see. Okay, when was I in the hospital for 6 days for the leg infection? I think that was almost, time flies though. I'm going to say yes, but it might not be, but this doesn't have to be. Blood clot, no. Broken bone, no. I'm afraid at my age that freezing or removal of okay. But I haven't been to, The answer to this would be yes, but I haven't been to the skin cancer doctor, the dermatologist, definitely since, the COVID-19 virus, and maybe before that. So it's been a while. So the answer is, no, I'm probably still, probably got some of the, when I do make it back to the dermatologist, I'm sure he's going to have some stuff to do. But I'm answering no to this. Where was your serious infection in the past 12 months? Let's see. Okay, serious infection. skin, muscle, or genitalia, eye infection, stomach, blood infection. Okay, I'm going to say it was a blood infection. And it actually should be like in the leg, but I think that's going to be sufficient. If you happen to know more about the type or name of your infections, please enter it below. Okay, I could look it up, but I'm not going to. I'm going to skip this question. No. Yes. Okay. In the past 12 months, what was your highest total cholesterol? Below 200. I think it was, oh wait a minute, I need to go by this other over here. Okay, here it is, yeah. 6.2 to 6.7. Okay, I could look this cholesterol up, but I'm not going to. Good, I could look that up also, but I'm not going to, because I can log into my medical records, which is pretty neat, you know, that you can do that nowadays with the computer. Okay, there again, I'm not going to go look this up. Okay, in the past 12 months, were you prescribed any new medicine to lower your cholesterol? Not in the last 12 months, nothing new. And I don't think I'm taking anything at all because I've refused. When I was in Miami, Florida, I was told that my cholesterol was too high. The doctor prescribed something. I'm not good at, I kind of ignore myself. And I don't, you know, I ignore stuff that I should, which as you get older especially, but at any age, you know. But anyway, so the doctor gave me this new medicine, or this statin, for high cholesterol. And then at some point, I was like, oh my God, is this old age? I felt like every part of I felt like somebody had taken a baseball bat to me and hit me all over my body, everywhere, legs, back, everything. And I thought, is this old age? I don't want to be old. This, you know, life is. I thought life is not worth living. This is, you know, this is terrible. And then I looked up the new medicine that I had started taking. Well, just not that. I guess I looked them all up. And I looked this up, and it said in there exactly what I was feeling. It says, you know, that this medicine for a lot of people causes every muscle in your body to hurt. And I stopped taking it, and it went away. And I thought I was just entering old age. But I stopped taking that medicine, and I was back to being my normal self. And so I just stopped taking that medicine. And then later, and I think that may be when I came to, and maybe a doctor there might have said, well, I can give you that. I said, no, you know. And then when I came to Texas, at some point the doctor said, you know, well, you know, your cholesterol is high and you need to take. And I said, no. And he says, why? And I said, because I had this thing, oh, I can give you a different kind. And I said, no, I'm not taking it. No way, I'm not taking it. And a couple of times he said, and then of course, a few years ago, it was on, you know, the news, CNN, and front pages of paper, stuff like that. That, let's see, what doctors would that be? Anyway, a research had come out, and it said that the new medical consensus is that, I remember watching it like on McNeil, well, before, after McNeil, the news hour, and there was discussion. They had doctors on there discussing it. Now, if you are old, I forget what the things were, but it was like, okay, if you're old and you're such and such, you even though your cholesterol is not high or something, you need to be taking this cholesterol medicine, and everybody then. And so when I saw my doctor said, well, now I said, nope, I've seen that, and you know what? I didn't go to medical school, but I disagree with it. And I said, I'm not taking, it, the medicine. So. So the answer to that is no. Man, I thought this was going to be a shorter thing, this survey. In the past 12 months, have you been newly diagnosed with any conditions not mentioned in this survey? I don't think so. In the past 12 months, you made any changes to your diet and exercise? No, I don't exercise. I should. And I think now I'm at the point where, and I've had you people telling, I've had people in the past saying, you need to exercise. A lot of people saying you need to walk and all that kind of stuff. All of that is true. But now I can barely walk from my bed that's over there to this desk. And I should have made changes to my exercise. Well, and I definitely should make changes to my diet. And one reason I know that, my feet are swollen up. I can't even get any. My feet can't even get in any shoes. My legs, they look bad. They look like a person who has diabetes real bad. And but a few years ago, and I've got the videos here. You can see there's a playlist here on YouTube of me going to Washington, D.C. a few years ago. I forget how long ago that was. And I went with the problems. Well, I was able to walk a little bit. Well, more than a little bit with difficulty. Part of the problem was, bladder problems, but anyway, my feet were swollen, my legs were swollen, and everything else. And so I was there for 2 weeks with my daughter and her husband to see Washington, D.C. I'd never been to Washington, D.C. I really enjoyed that because I'm like a news, freak and like movies. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington and all these things like that, But I was they're vegan, and so I ate their food for 2 weeks, and actually walked every other day. I gave myself a day of rest between, and I walked for about 3 or 3.5 hours every other day. And before I left, my legs were back and my feet were back to normal. And then as soon as I came back to Texas, my legs and feet went back. So really, I might make fun of people that are vegetarian, but I've told my doctor when when I told when I had the new pacemaker put in, I was just talking to the I tell people, uh, there's something to. I told my daughter, of course, jokingly, get a bed and breakfast or something, place, and sign people up to come, like for 2 weeks, and have them eat your food and go out and walk a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I'm a man. I love pork chops, steak, barbecue, McDonald's. Uh, but I now in the beginning when my daughter and her husband when they became vegan, they like they came to visit a few times and they brought uh, vegan that you could get at the store, hot dogs or something, which were and my daughter LaDonna, she said, "Oh, you've got to try this. It's really good." I take a bite. I'm sorry, spit it out. Horrible. All that stuff was horrible. But and my daughter now, I think if I remember correctly, our conversations, she admits that she was wrong. She wanted to be convinced, and she wanted to, but her and her husband have learned to cook, good food that's palatable, that you can actually eat. And when we were there when I was there for 2 weeks, uh, they mentioned, well, we ordered in pizza a few times, pizza for me and pizza, for them. Actually, I think what I did is I actually went ahead and ate the pizza that they ordered from, so I ate that. Not great, but it's okay. Uh, but they mentioned that a restaurant that they really loved, and there that was everything they served in this restaurant was vegan food. Everything. They didn't serve anything else. And they said it's really good. And I said, I don't think you can, But before I left, I told them, I said, hey, let's go to that restaurant that you swear by and everything, and I'll pay for the food for us. So we went there, and they each ordered a thing that they have every time they go there. That they eat, oh, this is just great. I want to try it. I said, no, no, no. But they had a variety or something thing that you could order, and I ordered that, and I got that. A little bit of everything, I guess. Well, not everything, but And it was the best food I've ever had in my life. And so I had them try that, and they said, yeah, of course that's good. So, have you made any changes? No, I have not. Select a country. Okay, United States. Zip code. Current weight, 240. Thank God. Okay. Okay, I think that's it. I appreciate you going through this with me. Guess I should have do something. I guess I should have done this maybe with a live streaming. I haven't done any live streaming, and actually, I don't know if I'm going to do any because I've live streamed a few times, on YouTube for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and very, maybe 4 or 5 people at the same time. Maybe got to a high at one time of 7 people or something, and it says here I've answered more questions than 79%. Anyway, thank you very much for. Oh, wait a minute. Let me do this. See that thing back in the corner over me? The thing that you use to pick up things. You squeeze it and you can pick up things. I was sent when I was doing YouTube or doing Amazon reviews. I was sent 2 or 3 of those things at different times. Maybe 2 came in a package or something, I can't remember. That has been a godsend for me and for my ex-wife. She's wheelchair bound. But that has been a godsend. I use that thing every day and it's held up. And when I got it, I thought, this is pretty cheap, that's with my arthritis especially. I've got a little tiny waste basket back here behind me, and I'll throw something in it, and sometimes it goes on the floor. And with my arthritis, any bending over with my arthritis is just so. I recommend that depending on if you need it, your age or whatever, and it's held up. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.